Today we leave the gunmakers of London behind us and we travel north to Scotland, to the city of Edinburgh, to take a look at a very fine double rifle built by Daniel Fraser. Daniel Fraser actually was born in Inverness, grew up around that area, and after a devastating storm cut them off from the outside world, his parents decided to move the whole family to Edinburgh. And after trying his hand at building Venetian blinds, he decided that that was not really what he wanted to do long term. So Daniel Fraser actually joined Alex Henry as an apprentice, finished his apprenticeship with Alex Henry, and then went on his own, established a really high quality gun firm in Edinburgh. There's a couple of highlights out of Daniel Fraser's career. I think the first one is he became very well known for filing patents and really developing more modern and different single shot falling block rifles, specifically geared towards deer stalking in Scotland. He also developed a proprietary cartridge, the 303 rimless Velox cartridge. And just a word of caution, if you buy a 303 from Daniel Fraser, it's a good idea to look whether that rifle is actually the 303 rimless or the 303 British, because there is a substantial difference in those two cartridges. And then obviously Daniel Fraser built double rifles and shotguns, and the double rifle we'll be taking a closer look at today will really put your mind at ease that Daniel Fraser was a firm that really built exceptional quality, exceptional attention to detail, and really turned out very fine hunting rifles. For those of you who would like to explore or learn a lot more about Daniel Fraser, there's actually a really good book titled Daniel Fraser, Gun and Rifle Maker of Edinburgh, Scotland, by Jonathan Grenville Curtin. And it's a very detailed book. It contains a lot of patent information, very nice high quality photographs of all of the falling block developments that he made. And towards the end of the book, it also shows really nice examples of the double rifles, shotguns, and even the bolt action rifles. And it also has a whole section on the development of that 303 rimless Velox cartridge. So a really nice and concise, complete book on Daniel Fraser. The rifle we're taking a look at today is chambered in 9.3mm by 7.4 rimmed, and it seems a very common theme if you review all of the records from Daniel Fraser, where a lot of the original double rifles made in caliber 400, 360 Nitro Express 2 3/4 inch was rechambered for the 9.3 by 7.4 rimmed. And the rifle we're going to take a look at today is exactly such a case. It was originally manufactured as a 400 360, nitro proofed, and obviously functioned like that for a while, and then was rechambered into 9.3 by 7.4 rimmed, and that is how it is shot and regulated today. It is interesting that Hornady makes factory ammo for the 9.3 by 7.4, more aimed at the single shot Ruger #1 falling block rifles, but it provides us with easy accessible brass. And I just buy the Hornady ammo, pull the bullets, and then just recharge with powder to make sure that it regulates in the double. You will note on the right hand side there that for hunting purposes I've actually regulated this rifle with both Woodley soft and the hydrostatic solid. Both of those fire very well through this rifle, and very suitable for hunting. In taking a look at the actual rifle, a couple of comments. I think first and foremost, just exceptional quality in the piece of wood that's gone into that stock. Wood to metal finish and fix and fit as expected, really impeccable. Engraving really well done, and the attention detail devoted to the fences on this rifle warrants a little more detailed examination in a bit. You can see very clearly it's a double trigger double gun. And on the top rib you can see that there's claw mounts added for scope, and we'll take a quick look at how they work in just a second. But there's a small Leipold scope that really fits this rifle very well balanced rifle, easy to use, and with a 9.3x7 4-rimmed, really a rifle with manageable recoil, a pleasure to carry and a pleasure to shoot. In looking at how the Daniel Fraser gun case is set up, it comes in a short complete leather and brass case. A couple of comments. I think first and foremost, if we look underneath the set of barrels up top in the case, there's a cleaning rod underneath that, which is not really different from how other gun makers set it up. If we look towards the right hand corner, you'll see, and we'll look at it in a little more detail in just a second, but there's a little white screw cap container that contains 2 additional firing pins. So a whole set of firing pins is kept in the case for the uneventuality that one would actually break. Then it has capacity on the left for some cleaning equipment. This rifle actually came with a 2.5 magnification Marburg scope, which is contained in that left bottom container. However, that scope was really unsuited for hunting, so I replaced it with a small Leipold, which we'll take a look at in just a second. But then, you know, the stock in action, very well contained, very tightly. There's a couple of turn screws that lie in the areas right on top and right below the stock. And then, very typical, Daniel Fraser used to put their oil bottles in a round, specifically created little area for the oil bottle. So that's a characteristic from a Daniel Fraser gun box. And we'll take a closer look at all of these in just a second. So I've moved a couple of items around in the case, but as you can see, the Marburg scope, that box was actually, that little crevice there was created to house that scope. Just to the north of it is where I put some cleaning equipment. And then further north, you can see that this set of barrels comes with an additional 3rd bite that actually goes into the action. We'll have a quick look at that. And on top of it, you can see very clearly the claw scope mounts right behind the rear sights there. And then you can see the end of the cleaning rod protruding there at the bottom or the floor of the barrel section in that case. Now, I told you we needed to spend a little bit more time and look a little more carefully at the actual action of this rifle. And I think, you know, just looking on top of it, if you look at the fences on this rifle, the amount of time, effort and energy that had gone into engraving those fences is just unbelievable. Then this rifle also comes with what is called a stalking safety. So if we go to the just behind the lever that opens the gun, you will see that there's a small little lever that you can move either away from the safety catch, or it will block the safety catch from actually going on safety. So that was to prevent a rifle inadvertently being put off safe and making it the possibility of actually shooting someone. So there's an extra step. If you want to take this thing off safe, you have to take that little stalker safety, move it to the right hand side, and it will allow your safe to actually go off safe and into the firing position. This rifle also comes with ejectors, so they're timed perfectly, so when you open up this action after firing, both fly out at the same time. Very nicely done. As I said, Daniel Fraser had this knack of taking their oil bottle and actually setting it right into a section that was actually made for it. So if you pull that oil bottle out, you'll see that there's a perfectly round section for that oil bottle to actually go back into. And then, as I said, if you look towards the back, there's turn screw in there, and there's turn screw in additional equipment to the north. Just taking a look at the wood, so this is where the chickpiece lies. Again, you can see that the quality of wood on this rifle is just truly exceptional. And then towards the right hand side in the top of this deal, you can clearly see the additional firing pins that came supplied with the actual rifle. So again, you know, in summary, if you look at this hunting rifle that was supplied out of Edinburgh, a true pleasure to shoot, and really pleasant to look at. Very nice quality work done by the Scots many years ago. Just a final comment or two on taking these older rifles and actually getting them fit for use today. Unfortunately, using open sights is becoming a little more of a challenge as one gets older. So making use of those claw mounts, I just took the nickel scope out and replaced it with a 1.25 to 5x20 Leipold scope. You can see it fits very well into the very nicely engraved set of rings that came with this rifle, and it sets very quickly on the barrels. And not only does it set quickly, it actually stays on those bases very reliably. So I just set it up for a point of aim with the right barrel. The left barrel on 100 yards is about dead on, and you know, beyond that it's a little to the left, and you know, so it's perfectly acceptable to use for normal hunting conditions, especially for African bush hunting where you don't go really significantly beyond 100 yards with this type of rifle. Very easy, practical setup, and it makes use of an old rifle still fun and effective. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and until we meet again, stay safe and happy hunting.